Hello, listeners. Welcome to another edition of Bookie Bashing, Week 2 of the NFL Playoff Divisional Round. Very excited to come at you with this card. As always, I am your host, Anthony Nicky Jr., back in the booth with my two gambling experts, Mr. Ace Berg. How you feeling this week?
I'm always feeling good, Tony. I love this time of year. The playoffs are really starting to take form, and I think we're going to have some really exciting games to watch this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it.
And on my other side, looking good as always, Mr. Joey Staxxx. How you feel about this playoff weekend?
I'm feeling good. The deeper and deeper we get, the more exciting these games become. Really like this weekend's card. A couple of great matchups, and gonna get you guys some more winners.
Yeah, getting to the very end of this season here. 8 teams remaining, the best of the best. Gonna get some slugfest, some wars of games. We're very excited to come at you with 3 winners this Sunday. Really, we love this card. Continue to build on what's been a very great football season. Of course, regular year in the book, 54-31 overall. It was an extremely high money-making year. We were killing bookies all season. And now, heading into the playoffs, want to continue to build on that success. Last Sunday, of course, disappointing wild card start. 1-3 overall. A couple tough losses. That under in the Carolina game should have never gotten over that 38. But some horrible Cardinals turnovers got us there. Either way, going to turn the page on last week very quickly. As I always preach, this NFL season, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. One bad weekend, not going to slow us down. We are going to continue to make money, and we love these 3 games this weekend. 3-0 card, easy. Put it in the books already. Don't want to waste any more time. Love this action. Let's start them off at the top. NFL Divisional Round coming at you.
Baltimore at New England.
Leading off the divisional playoff round Saturday afternoon, heading to Foxborough, where the New England Patriots lay the touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens. Going to lay that 7 points with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and company, as I just feel they are way too much to handle for this Baltimore Ravens team. Ravens, to me, should already have been out of it. They backed into the playoffs, really not showing up against the Browns in Week 17. The Le'Veon Bell injury last week proved to be way too much for the Steelers to overcome, and that, to me, is why Flacco and company's still in this thing. Now they head to New England, where the last time these two teams met in the playoffs, Ravens beat them by 15 points. Newsflash, folks, not the same Baltimore Ravens team. You don't got that defense led by Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. They're not lacing up this Sunday. The leadership is not the same. I think that this Ravens defense is going to get torched a little bit by Tom Brady. I think you get a huge day out of Gronkowski in this one, and I expect New England to move the ball at will. On the defensive side of the ball, Patriots are such a different team than they were in that playoff game. I got Revis on one side of the ball. He should shut down Steve Smith Sr. completely. Browner, big, physical, should make it hard for Torrey Smith to get off the ball at all. Flacco's weapons really taken out there. And now when I can focus on the running game a little more, I don't think Justin Forsett does much. Ravens are going to struggle to move this ball here, as I got a New England team that shows up against these good teams. Here's a Patriots squad, 8-0 against the spread in their last 8 home games versus a team with a winning record. New England, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games overall. Like the Patriots here to show up, put a stranglehold on these Ravens, and prove why they were the number 1 seed in the AFC.
We got Tom Terrific, Mr. Tom Brady in a playoff game here at Foxborough. This is a game that just screams, take the Patriots. We're only laying a touchdown here, folks, and this is a game where Joe Flacco and company come in and just can't hang with that powerful, smart Patriots offense. Rob Gronkowski and now Brandon LaFell, the big threat. There's just no stopping these guys. And then we have this very creative, very tricky Patriots running game led by Bill Belichick. I just love this offense. And the defense of the Patriots, just a totally revamped, upgraded defense. They were built to make a playoff run. That's why they upgraded this defense for this game and for the playoffs. This Baltimore Ravens team just not strong enough offensively to get it done. The defense is weak too. Just going to get thrown all over on top by Tom Brady. Going to get ran on. And Flacco just can't hang with Tom Brady in this playoff game. It's as simple as that. We get a double-digit victory out of the Patriots here as Flacco can't keep up with Tom Brady.
Folks, this in my mind is the easiest game to pick this weekend. The Patriots are absolutely going to annihilate these Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens do not stand a chance this weekend, and the major reason is because of that Patriots defense. It's really been the X factor for them all season. It's why they have the number 1 seed, it's why they got the bye in the playoffs, and it's why they're going to probably cruise to the Super Bowl, folks. And on the flip side, the Baltimore Ravens could not be any different. Their secondary has absolutely been getting torched torched all season since losing Jimmy Smith. And despite the last half dozen games or so, where they've actually looked pretty decent, folks, outside of Pittsburgh last weekend, they haven't faced a good offense since November, and Pittsburgh was missing one of their best offensive players, so it's a bit of an illusion that their defense has been playing this well. I think that the defense is going to look a lot similar to the ones that was getting torched when they originally lost Jimmy Smith, and similar to the defense that got torched last year against New England. I believe Rob Gronkowski has probably 2 touchdowns. I think Tim Wright gets himself 1 or 2. I think Tom Brady has an absolute stellar day as the Patriots cruise over these Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, love New England in this spot. Good defense. Much better defense than years past, and I still got Tom Brady, Bill Belichick running that offense. Love this squad here. Take New England, lay the 7 points here. They get the job done over the Ravens, 31-13 final.
Carolina at Seattle.
Coming at you Saturday night in Seattle as they lay the 11 points with the Carolina Panthers coming in. We're going to lay that big double-digit number with the Hawks all day here, as I think Seattle way too much for this Carolina team to handle, and I think it gets very ugly on Saturday night. Here's a Panthers team backed into the playoffs because of a weak NFC South. I know they're on a nice little 5-game win streak here. However, not much competition in those victories here, as the 4 wins at the end of the year, a lot of them against their very weak division opponents. Then they took on, in a wild card weekend, an Arizona Cardinals team that, let's be honest, has not been the same since those injuries to Palmer and Stanton. Lindley just didn't have what it takes to move the ball. And at that point, when an Arizona Cardinals defense that's been very good all year, you give up when you know your offense can't score. They kind of gave up, and Carolina ended up rolling a little bit in this one. Now they head to Seattle, who is a completely different team at home than they are on the road. The Hawks come in 36-16-2 against the spread in their last 54 home games, also 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 playoff games. I got a Seattle team that in the last 3 seasons has head to Carolina 3 times and beaten them 3 times. Now Cam Newton and company has to take on this 12th man crowd in a playoff game versus this defending Super Bowl champs. I don't see it happening. Here's a Panthers offense that relies heavily on the read option. Usually they have some success, but this Seattle defense has been seeing that read option since training camp with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. In the secondary, I have Richard Sherman, who should be able to slow down a stud first-year receiver in Kelvin Benjamin, and then the X-Factor, Cam Chancellor. All that size, 6'4", going to be on the slot on Greg Olsen, who's Cam Newton's favorite target. I don't think Greg Olsen does much today. I don't think that Panthers offense does much at all today. I see them struggling to get into double-digit points. Seattle, on the other hand, they lean on you. When they start running the ball, pounding the ball, they're hard to slow down, hard to stop. Take the Hawks, lay the 11 points here. They roll easily by double digits, go to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I love this Seattle Seahawks team right now, and I think they're a really safe play this weekend. I know it's a lot of points to be laying in a playoff game, and that can be scary to a lot of people, but it's still a safe play because Seattle's that much better of a team, guys. At this point in the season, the cream is going to rise to the top. And Seattle is the cream of the crop in the NFC. And Carolina is what their record says they are. And that's just a 500 team, guys. They're not a bad team, but we see it all the time where this under 500 team will sneak into the playoffs and they'll battle really hard in that first game and win it to prove that they belonged in that playoffs. But then what happens in that second game? A lot of America starts believing in them and they get absolutely smoked. That's what's going to happen here, as Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch are just a dynamic duo that cannot be stopped by anybody. And on the flip side, that defense is just going to be able to shut down an offense that they've already seen this season. These defenders are too smart to be beaten twice, and all of Carolina's targets are going to have worse numbers. I think if you look at this head-to-head series, it really shows what's going to happen. As since Pete Carroll has gotten there in 2010, Seattle's won all 4 of their matchups, covered 3 of the 4, and their only home game, they stomped on Carolina 31-14. I think that there's a good chance it lands on that exact same score this weekend as the Seattle Seahawks roll out these Carolina Panthers.
The defending champion, Seattle Seahawks, with 12 men on the field, take on the Carolina Panthers, who just snuck into the playoffs with a losing record. This is just an unbelievable mismatch here. Marshawn Lynch, one of the best running backs in the NFL, is going to absolutely pound that football. They're going to pound the Carolina Panthers defense into the ground, and just when they start to adjust to that, Russell Wilson is going to take over with his feet or in the air. That offense has really come together late in this season, and the defense is just phenomenal. We already know that. The number 1 defense in the NFL. two of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Richard Sherman shuts down Kelvin Benjamin. The run game for the Panthers just not going to be enough to keep them in this one here. They're going to need to turn to Cam Newton, and he's going to be absolutely shut down by that Seattle Seahawks defense. Pete Carroll, much better coach here, a championship coach, leads them to a double-digit victory. I think we're going to push towards a 20-point margin as the Seattle Seahawks get it done here.
Yeah, I think this one's going to get very ugly here, as this Seahawks team's just going to be way too much as they cruise into the NFC Championship game. Roll Hawks in this one, 34-6 final over Carolina.
Indianapolis at Denver.
Finishing off this divisional round, Sunday night in Mile High as the Indianapolis Colts come in, plus the 7 points against the Denver Broncos. We're going to roll Colts here. Love that touchdown. Is this Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, round 3, I think, is going to be an absolute battle just like the first two were. I don't know who comes out on top, but I think it's a field goal game, and the Colts might end up being your winner. Indy comes into this game having gained some momentum last weekend, beating up on the Bengals at home. I think the defense has a little bit of their swag back following a little bit of a tough run at the end of the season. And on the offensive side, Andrew Luck and company looked good, not turning the ball over again. Played very well, and I think that's the key to beating Peyton Manning in this one. I got a Colts team that head-to-head against the Broncos, 7-0 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. This team, from a mental standpoint, has Denver's number. And now Peyton Manning, Hall of Fame quarterback, has been great throughout his career, but only 11-12 overall record in the playoffs. He has struggled at times, and I think Andrew Luck is going to come in, kind of have that passing of the torch a little bit, as he's the guy who took Manning's spot in Indy. Now he beats him in a playoff game. I really see that happening this weekend. Denver, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 playoff games. Now they're laying a touchdown. I know they're at home, but I think Peyton Manning's a little bit more banged up than he's saying. Julius Thomas has been hurt all throughout the second half of the season. I just don't see the offense clicking like it was early on. I think 7's way too much to be laying in this huge playoff game. Take the Colts, take that touchdown. Andrew Luck and company gets the job done in this one.
Folks, I am a true believer that history is due to repeat itself. And as much as I love Peyton Manning, his history shows that not only is he a below 500 quarterback in the playoffs, but he is also worse when he's coming off of a bye in the playoffs. And when you look at the type of quarterback that have beaten him in the playoffs, for the most part, they are younger, top-notch quarterbacks coming up in the league trying to prove that they belong. You have guys obviously like Brady, Roethlisberger, Rivers that have beaten them, but don't forget that Mark Sanchez and Joe Flacco also beat him in the playoffs, guys. Not to mention Russell Wilson. I believe Andrew Luck is just the next name in a long list of young quarterbacks to beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs. I think that this Colts team proved a lot when they only lost by 7 points earlier this season to a Broncos offense that looked like they were unstoppable at the time. And Peyton Manning was much healthier. Peyton doesn't have an injury like Rodgers has necessarily, but Peyton is just beat up and worn down at this point in the season. It's definitely going to show when he's outside in the tough elements of Denver. I believe a younger, better physical quarterback like Andrew Luck is going to be looking more impressive, especially when his team is a little more healthier and maybe gelling a little more at this point in the season. I think that the bye hurts the Denver Broncos this week, as they are not as in sync as a team like Indianapolis that got out all the kinks against a bad team like Cincinnati last weekend and is clicking a little bit more. And I really like Andrew Luck to step up to the big stage and advance his legacy one step farther as he faces Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. Roll Colts, guys.
Peyton Manning really looks like he's been struggling. I don't like what I've seen from him. The guy is notorious for blowing some games in the playoffs, not being the same guy he was all season, but he had games this season that were awful. So if we get anything close to that, Andrew Luck is going to take full advantage and we're going to get an outright Colts victory. But I just think Andrew Luck, the up-and-coming future of the NFL, this may be a game where Peyton Manning kind of hands off that torch. Really like this Colts offense. T.Y. Hilton, a huge downfield threat. You know, the tight end game has really been working well for him too. Andrew Luck is really finding all his targets. He's really developed a great connection with his guys. Although a lot of weapons on that Denver offense, they just haven't really looked right. And even on their best day, I really think Andrew Luck and that team can compete. Andrew Luck is the kind of guy that's going to fight to the end and keep them close. We get a touchdown here, which is way too many points. I see this thing going a field goal either way here. And we get a Denver defense that is nothing special. Andrew Luck will have no trouble moving the football, and I think we coast to a cover, if not a outright win.
Yeah, 7 way too much for these Broncos to be laying in this one. I love Andrew Luck getting a touchdown here. I think he competes completely and ends up getting us a victory in this one. Take the Colts here, 30-28 winner. So that's going to wrap things up for the divisional playoff round. Week 2 of these playoffs, we love these 3 games. Think we got you 3 easy victories. We continue to build on what has been a very successful, great NFL season, 54-31 overall in the regular year. Going to continue to make money, continue bashing these bookies before myself and Mr. Joey Staxxx start to make the big basketball run throughout the winter and spring months. However, we love these 3 divisional games. Got to get on this action as we open things up Saturday afternoon in Foxborough. We're going to lay the touchdown with the New England Patriots as they dominate the Baltimore Ravens, 31-13 final. Then head to Seattle where that 12th man gives us a huge help and a huge boost Saturday night as they dominate Carolina, 34-6 final. And then finishing things off, love the touchdown, getting 7 points with Andrew Luck and the Colts. They stun everybody, outright victory in Denver, 32-28. 3 winners here. Make sure you get on this action. Make sure you continue to make money here. As we've been killing them all season at Bookie Bashing, we're going to continue to do it through the playoffs and through the basketball season. For my gambling experts, Mr. Joey Staxxx and Mr. Ace Berg, I am your host, Anthony Nicky Jr. As always, wishing you a great weekend. Continue to make that money, and we will see you here next time at www.bookiebashingats.com.